Welcome everyone to CDO's Magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President, Sandhill Consultants, and I'm coming to you today from Toronto, Canada, working with the CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ Symposium, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Srinivasan Sankar. Srini is the Enterprise Data Analytics Leader at Hanover Insurance. Welcome, Srini.
Hello, Robert. Thank you for having me, CDO Magazine. And thanks, Robert. Though we've known a few years, this is the first time I'm having an interview conversation with you. Hope.
It is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to engage with you. I know we communicate via email, but it's so good to do things face to face. And hopefully, you're down there in Boston. We'll see you at the MIT CDO IQ Symposium. So I'll be there in Boston. And for all our listeners, please remember the MIT CDO IQ Symposium is going to be live in Boston, 19th, 20th, and 21st of 2022. However, I digress. Today, I believe we're going to be talking about modern data and analytics platforms. Now, right off the bat, Srini, for our listeners, people have probably heard about the modern or the data and analytics, but you're going to talk about modern data and analytics platform. So could you expand upon that definition for our listeners?
Sure. Right. Having someone like myself, who've been doing data and analytics for 20 plus years, I've been doing 25 years, right? Modern data and analytics, right? The way, at least myself, I've dissected in many different ways, right? So it could mean many things for different people, right? So to be frank, I don't know, if there is a clear definition, whether it's from Gartner or Forrester or for anyone. From my perspective, the way I look at modern data and analytics platforms, the definition of it is, right, it's having access to the right data at the right time, at the right quality for all the business users. And also the self-service, self-sustained, scalable performance and accessibility aspect of it. It's all available without too much of engineering or management that needs to happen. Having said that, I'm not advocating here everything has to be completely black box, that we don't need engineers or so. No, that's not the way to be interpreted. So this is, if I have to summarize in one sentence, it's more of a self-service analytics, data, information access, consumer friendly approach. That's how I look at
it. And you know what? We are definitely looking for your opinion here, right? Because that's all it counts. Because now I understand that, however you've defined it, this self-service data and analytics a friendly platform, right? And I understand that you have established this platform at Hanover. And I wonder if you would be able to talk us through about how you established such a program.
Yeah. Just a disclaimer, right? It's not that I've completely got everything modern data and analytics, right? So this is about 5 years ago when I was doing my initial listening, learning, even when I joined here 7 years ago, the first 90 days, 180 days, and then leading up to that is, right? So one thing I heard from all of the business users is, right, they don't have access to data. So here is another aspect that I have to stress on for the modern data and analytics is the data democratization. When I say data democratization, it's not completely opening it up without proper security, privacy, access control, but having all the guardrails on. So the users were all talking about how it takes even from anywhere from 3 to 6 months to have access to report, dashboards, and scorecards, because they have to fill in a request to IT, and IT will prioritize it, and then IT will have a reporting factory that reports need to be developed. So I actually found an opportunity just at the right time, like where there are like platforms available, though we've had data visualization platforms and then like others that have been in existence for like 10 years before. So I was wondering like, hey, what would it take like without really having that reporting factory, but put all the dashboard, scorecard, and reports development in the hands of the user. So that is that one aspect of it, right? Like, so I kicked that off, right? Like now, it's been in existence 5 years. Like the entire organization is on that self-service BI and analytics platform. Yeah, over time, like we matured it, like in terms of like how we roll that out, like who gets to access. And the best part of it is, right, like I no longer have a reporting factory.
Right.
So
Right.
there are no one in IT keyboard punching and developing reports. It's all now in the hands of the business.
Which obviously has benefits from your point of view because you don't have to have that cost, and you've kind of provided the flexibility with the service for the end user departments and business departments. So, I applaud you on that. And no doubt the response time has gone down from those 3 to 6 months to almost instantaneous because they've got direct access to
Exactly.
the dashboards.
Yeah. So now like they can access the data because we've had that successful enterprise data warehouse repository where now the users can go in and self-serve reports in 2 to 3 hours.
So I already know the answer to this question, but it's good for our listeners to be able to hear you articulate the benefits. So some data leaders believe that to be a successful data leader in any organization these days, that you not only have to become data driven, but you also have to become very strong in the profile of data and analytics. Could we ask your thoughts on this? And if you agree with this, why would you agree with this?
You're thinking like more of an advocate,
Yeah,
evangelist for
yeah,
data.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly, right? Like, so that, now, like when we are talking a lot about data literacy, training program for data people, it's actually not just the data people or someone who's using data or the consumer of data. It actually starts from the top, right? Like a CEO, CFO needs to have the data literacy, right? Like, so really like have to go about in terms of that advocacy mode, right? Like why data is important, right? Like the other day, last week, we have also had our innovation expo in-house, and then we've had some external speakers from insurance, insurtech innovation. They were talking a lot about data, how data is powering AI. So I was on that chat in that big chat window, like I keep typing in, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, data is a foundation. Without data, you cannot do AI. The right data, the right time, right quality is important. So like I'll get likes, right? Like because even it is so basic now, everyone knows about it, but I still to date like I have to do that, right? Like really be that
Advocate.
speaker phone of sort, like for all that is data.
Yeah, we would absolutely agree with it. It does start from the top. And actually, I know this about you, that you're a strong advocate for aligning with organizations' business strategies and their business priorities and the financial goals for senior data leaders like yourself. Can you maybe provide some insights as to the best way to engage the business and explain how you're delivering on these items, like how you're delivering on, hey, you've got a business strategy. This is this is the priorities. Here's how our modern data and analytics platform is delivering to these value to the end business. Could you maybe expand upon that and give maybe an example or two?
Sure. Like, so when I started my career with data over 20 years ago, at the time, like, it's all called like the business intelligence projects,
Yeah.
right? Like, we were all like doing business intelligence projects. So at that time, it's all like we used to tell, hey, there is no business intelligence without business or business involvement. So, where like a business intelligence project is not an IT project. So we used to emphasize back then, like, okay, who is the business owner who's driving this, right? Like, really, having that ownership. So always have that mentality, right? Like, so I'm not starting a project here at Hanover or anywhere that I've worked in the past where I have never started a data project or business intelligence, now analytic project without a business involvement. Or business is the driver. Like I'm like a data custodian, like I am a data enabler. I'm an architect. I'll architect the best systems. I know cloud. Like I'll tell like where it fits within. So that's where like I would say like anything you start from day one, involve the business, right? Like and business at the stakeholder level, someone who has like lot of stakes in a data project, and the outcome of it is going to directly benefit the business growth.
I love that. And occasionally we hear our speakers come up with jams, and you've just come up with another one. There's no business intelligence without the business, right? You've got to have the business involved, and you're absolutely right. They've got to be part and parcel of those, discussions, right? So, to our listeners, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you.
Thank you.